quickly drop a like on the video for great luck in all of 2020. And also for my boy Meowscles, who is just vibing out. If you don't drop a like, you might hurt his feelings. Don't risk it. Also, check me out on Caffeine and join my live stream for free V-Bucks, skins, gifts, and more. What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. We got a lot of new stuff to cover, so let's go ahead and jump straight into it. So on my last video, Ethan commented and said on tier 65 of the battle pass you can see a loading screen of Frenzy Farms which is on fire, so maybe that will be a future event. And if you look at tier 65 of the battle pass, you can definitely see a loading screen of what does appear to be Frenzy Farms on fire. So I mean, potentially that could be something coming up later this season. We really don't know much about what's coming up, and I mean, to be realistic, a lot of times in past battle passes there have been things between emblems, loading screens, back blings, you name it, anything that have hinted towards what's going to happen later in that season. So I don't know if this is going to happen or not, but I am just mentioning it because it's something you just at least have to bear in mind as a possibility. Next up, we've got my guy Kale, who says the rig location is pretty suspicious due to the fact there are several explosive barrels on it, meaning the oil rig might explode in the middle of the season. What do you think about this? I definitely think it's pretty interesting. As we know, the rig is a new location this season, so there's bound to be something happening there, especially since we know there are going to be like select challenges or operations that we will be able to take part in throughout the course of the season that would change the fate of the island forever. That's a direct quote from the Battle Pass trailer for Season 12, or I guess Chapter 2, Season 2. The explosive barrels definitely are very suspicious, I would say too, and definitely are a cause for possibly that place exploding some point this season. It's also worth noting that the rig is an oil rig. They're digging for oil off of the sea. Oil, I looked it up, not all oils are flammable. It's not like gas, but oil in general can be decently flammable. So if one of those barrels are to explode, there's a possibility that the entire thing could just instantly burst into flames and explode instantly because of the oil that's all across the area. As you'll know if you watched my last couple videos, I've talked a lot about the heroes from Season 4 returning. I'm not going to dive into everything I've covered in the last few videos. You should go check them out if you're interested, but there are a lot of hints suggesting the Season 4 heroes could return this season. I got this comment from Shalil, who says maybe the Visitor already knew about the fight that is going to happen between Shadow and Ghost, so he went back to Season 4 to get the heroes. The Visitor is a very mysterious character, and I think this is at least possible. Now, I'm not saying it's probable, I'm just saying it's a possibility, and we have to try and cover every angle because ultimately no one knows what is going to happen. As I'm sure a lot of you guys know, the Visitor has already been referenced twice in the cinematic trailer for this season, both on the tree carving. One, there is an explicit picture of him, and one, there's a reference to the 7. Of course, the Visitor is one of those 7, and we know the Visitor's rocket is capable of traveling through dimensions or through time. Not exactly sure specifically, but it is capable of traveling through these rifts and going to different places. So, if the heroes are coming back this season, it wouldn't completely shock me to know the Visitor was behind getting them, because we really still don't know what the Visitor's real purpose was. Yeah, he was stuck in a loop, he was trying to get out of that map, but ultimately, the description of the Visitor is still the same and rings true today. Intentions unknown. Next up, I got a comment from Just Doodle, who says, at 7:51 on the black chair, of course referencing a timestamp in my last video, on the pillow, is that a bunch of Omen logos? Now, just to refresh in your memory, Omen is a skin from Season 4 who was a villain. Now, to go to the exact image Just Doodle was referencing from my last video, it was this one. This is a location in the oil rig that was new with this season that has a couple Season 4 references, including the Moisty Merman and, more importantly, another hero, Venturion, just to the right. Now, if you go and look at the pillow that's on this chair, it definitely looks to be similar to Omen's logo, although I would not go as far as to say it is identical, but it's definitely similar, and wouldn't surprise me if it actually is a hint towards Omen or whatever, because there is already a hero referenced in this image in this area, so it wouldn't be too shocking for that to be balanced by a villain in the same room. So I was on Reddit and saw a post from GModGamer13, and this is very interesting. So it says, this seems to be the vault from Season 8 on a monitor in the oil rig. Any idea what it could mean? If you take a look at the image on the screen, I see also in the Reddit comments on this thread that this is apparently on TVs and monitors at the Shark as well. You can clearly see what appears to be the vault from Season 8, 9, and X. Now, it's not identical, again, but it is very very similar and gives off that vibe, and if you had to guess what it was, the only thing any logical person would guess would be the vault. Now, it's really interesting because, of course, the vault was the whole reason that we are now on another map. Without a vault and a 0 point, there would be no orb that gets cracked, shattered, and sends us to this new map. Again, we have more references to Chapter 1 and more references and hints that we're going to get something from last chapter, possibly a whole bunch of different things reoccurring here in this season, and I can't wait to find out what it is. On that same thread, there was a comment from Daniel Danik who said, "I wouldn't be surprised if this dimension also had its own vault. I wonder what they will make with it to keep stuff interesting." And he brings up a good point. If there was a vault last season and we came to this place, it would kind of make sense for there to be another vault somewhere that would be kind of a connecting link between last map and last map storyline, as well as this map and this map storyline. Now, before anyone says anything, yes, I know there are technically vaults on the map. The loot vaults do not count. It's not the same thing. Yes, it is a vault, but it's not the vault, right? When you think of the vault, the number one thing Fortnite players think of is that giant thing in the middle of what was formerly Loot Lake that basically sent us to this new map during the end event. And again, we just keep getting more and more references to things that have happened in Fortnite storylines past, but in some weird way seem to also be the future. So I'm just unbelievably thrilled to find out what's going to happen and thrilled to cover the storyline as we find out more. So now I want to talk about Midas, or Midas, I think it's Midas actually, the Tier 100 skin for this season. As we know, Tier 100 skins oftentimes mean big stuff and mean big business when it comes to the storyline of that season. So Midas is the Tier 100 skin of this season, and anything he touches turns to gold. He's also the leader of the agency of the Ghost faction. He's the head honcho, or in other words, just the boss, the main guy. I got this comment last video from Zeptic who says, "Theory. Midas is the reincarnation of the King Midas in those Greek myths, and he will bring chaos and anarchy to the island, and the Ghost and Shadow team will have to team up and beat him." So the key word there is Greek myths. When I heard that, my mind immediately went to past things that have been Greek mythology in Tier 100 skins. I immediately looked up Midas in the dictionary just to see what the backstory was behind the Greek stuff, and this is what it says. In classical mythology, Midas was a king who was granted one wish by the god Dionysus. Greedy for riches, Midas wished that everything he touched would turn to gold, but he soon regretted that request. When he tried to eat, his food became an edible metal. When he embraced his daughter, she turned into a golden statue. On the instruction of Dionysus, he washed in a river and lost his touch of gold. So here's a guy who is a king who has it all but is greedy for riches. So he asked this Greek god to make every single thing he touches turn to gold. Sound familiar? That's literally exactly what Midas does in the game. Anything he touches turns to gold. Is it possible Fortnite is trying to drop clues right under our noses here? What if Midas, as a character in the storyline, is so greedy in his search for gold that it will maybe lead him astray in the future of the season from his main mission, and he will get power hungry or money hungry and start going off task? Maybe that is when both agencies, Ghost and Shadow, have to come together to stop him from doing whatever it might be that could be worse for the island than anything that was originally planned from either of these two factions. It also mentioned in the Greek lore there that eventually Midas realized the error of his ways and realized he needed to lose his golden touch, so he washed off in a river. We actually have plenty of rivers in this season, in this chapter, and I mean, it's actually kind of a focal point of the season. You can swim, you can fish, there are boats, there's so much more emphasis on the water than there ever was before last chapter. So again, maybe at some point Midas does get greedy, but realizes he has to change, and following the Greek mythology could go wash off in a river and become a good guy again. Take all of this with a grain of salt, nothing is confirmed, we're just speculating here, but I do think it makes a lot of sense considering this is not the first time Epic has pulled out the mythology card. They did that in Season 5 with Ragnarok. They've done it several other times too, and I mean, this time especially it makes a lot of sense. And by giving Midas the gold touch and obviously able to transform into full gold as you level up, kind of backs everything I just said up a lot. I'm looking forward to see exactly what role Midas plays in the storyline. As far as we know right now, we just know he's the head guy, We know that in the trailer, he is the one who pressed the button to summon all the agents. Guys, if you've got any theories, suggestions, ideas, or comments, please, by all means, leave them in the comment section down below. I'm going to try my best to respond to as many as I can, and I'll also be featuring as many as I can in the next video and giving you guys credit, because I always love to read your stuff and give a shout out to you guys when I can. I always appreciate your hard work, and without you guys, a lot of what I do on this channel would not be possible, so for that, I thank you very, very much. If you're new around here, make sure to subscribe, make sure to like the video, I'd really appreciate that, and if you haven't already followed me on Caffeine.tv, that's my live stream, you can find the link in the description. Go over, check me out. It's a great time. I do gift games every single stream, which means you join up, you win a game, you get a gift. Just as simple as that. We have a great time. I interact with you in real time. One of the best things about Caffeine is it is real-time interaction, meaning when I do something in the game, you immediately see it. When you type in the chat, I immediately see it, and you can immediately hear my response, which is an amazing feature that I love to utilize for Q&As for the storyline, theory revival, and stuff like that. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you in the next video, and until next time, take it easy, and peace out, guys.